And we kick off this evening with a look at the cinema.
I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema.
It's beautiful, beautiful cinema.
Cinema history come to life.
I found my solace in the small cinema I went to every Thursday night.
I'm a professor of cinema.
I go to the cinema for the stories.
There was no competition between the cinema and seminar.
I mean, it's not within the realm of conventional cinema.
And now,
here's Space and Johnson
with a cinema review.
It is Monday, April 13th, 2026, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Cinemaster's Reviews. A little bit of a lighter week in terms of like hype and just sort of like discourse in terms of new releases, but I still have a show. Was able to see two movies. Excited to talk with them both tonight. I'm going to be reviewing You, Me, and Tuscany, as well as Faces of Death. As we jump right into it, starting with our first review of the night, that being You, Me, and Tuscany, directed by Kat Coiro. Looking up her filmography, she was also the director of Marry Me, the romantic comedy with Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson. And she's back in the romantic comedy genre, as this film follows the character played by Halle Bailey, as I get her character name up real quick. Should have had this. Should have written this down. I don't know why I don't have it in my notes. Halle Bailey plays the character of Anna. Anna is a professional house sitter in New York. She had dreams of becoming a chef, but after her mom passed away, their dreams of moving to Italy in order to learn how to open up an Italian restaurant, those dreams sort of went on the backside. So she's just been working in New York as a professional house sitter. Her life seems to be a little aimless. So after meeting a guy at a bar and him saying that he's not going to be going back to Italy for a little while, she decides to get some inspiration and travel to Italy by herself, just on an impromptu vacation. Once she gets there, she learns that there is a festival going on and all of the hotels seem to be booked. So she takes the little info that she got from the guy she met at the bar and remembers that his house is going to be empty, which she ends up going to his beautiful, beautiful vista in Italy. Her family ends up going, and due to some shenanigans, she ends up finding a ring in the house. She's wearing the ring, and once that happens, all of Matteo's family, the guy she met in New York, ends up thinking that they are actually getting married, and now she has to live this lie in order to not have the cops called on her because she was trespassing in this guy's house. I'm someone that likes to pride myself on really loving every single genre of film, whether or not they are done well. Whether or not they are done well or done poorly is what affects me in my enjoyment of them. But there's not really a genre I really like shun, and I really do love a good, nice, solid studio romantic comedy. And going into this one, that's kind of what I was getting from the trailers. I wasn't expecting anything that was really going to like blow my socks off or that was going to be like really transgressive. And what I will say is, if you are going to this movie expecting like something that's really gonna like swerve and really like have some like unexpected changes to the romantic comedy formula, you're not gonna get it here, because You, Me, and Tuscany is very much a by the numbers, by the books, fluffy romantic comedy, emphasis on the fluffy nature of it. Everything just seems a little bit like little bit otherworldly with how the characters talk. When Anna's talking with Matteo's family in Italy, all of them are very like heightened personality. There is the cleaner for Matteo's family very just openly like just talks about having an affair to Anna and how she is cheating on her husband with the plumber that comes to fix the house. She just always says this is the key to having a good marriage. All the characters just sort of have these like very like over the top personalities, except for this one family member who owns a winery, played by Regé-Jean Page. Michael, we learned that Michael is the cousin to Matteo, as well as being the adopted brother, because we learned that Michael's family died, so Matteo's family adopted him. The second that Michael and Anna meet, immediate chemistry, even though she tells him that she is marrying her cousin. They immediately hit it off, sparks start flying. you can probably guess where this movie is going. You can probably guess that, oh, there's going to be a liar revealed story. She's going to reveal that she's going to learn that she actually likes Michael, so on and so on. This is definitely a formulaic movie, but it is one of those movies that I cannot deny. There are a reason why we have formulas with our films, and that is because they work. There is something fun about watching these two attractive people slowly start to realize that they like each other, get into like slight hijinks. They might be in a field in the winery, and the sprinklers end up going off, so they end up getting wet. Anna's always trying to like hide the secrets of why she actually is in Italy. Halfway through the movie, this isn't a spoiler, so I'm going to tell you this. Matteo ends up showing back up in Italy. And well, Matteo is obviously a little annoyed that Anna has been going on with this lie about him of saying that they're engaged. He also doesn't like hate Anna by any means, and is willing to go along with this lie for a little bit just in order to get her out of Italy and to hopefully call off the wedding. Again, don't want to spoil how that goes. There is a ex-fiance of Matteo who is the one that's really, really angry at Anna for being there because the ring that Anna was wearing was meant for her. So just a lot of hijinks, a lot of malarkey. It definitely is cliched. Like this movie genuinely doesn't really have like anything new to the formula, but it's a formula that works, and I was having fun as I was watching it. And I think it's because the pieces that make this movie are pretty effective. Halle Bailey is someone, I think the first time I saw her was with the live-action remake of The Little Mermaid, which is a movie I did not like. But I do admit one of the few bright spots of that movie was her lead performance as Ariel. And yeah, just she is a very, very charming lead as this character that at the start just obviously just doesn't really have any of their stuff together, very much living from like house sit to house sit job, wherever she's doesn't really have like a stable home. She just lives at the houses that she's house sitting for. So the reason why she doesn't really want to go back to New York is because she knows she's going to be living in her car for a while. But she just plays a character with like just the right amount of confidence that makes you believe that she's going to be able to make it through, and she makes you want to root for her. So yeah, Halle Bailey is someone that I hope gets more roles. I know she was also in the remake of The Color Purple. Thought that movie was fine. She's not given a ton to do, mainly because she's just a character that isn't in it a ton. But I would like to see her in more leading roles like this because I think she is she's a very good actress. Regé-Jean Page is an actor I've seen in a couple of things. I've not watched Bridgerton, and I know it's kind of like his big breakout on TV. I will say he's an actor. He's obviously a very, very good looking actor. I'm not gonna like and I understand why he was cast. I still don't think he has the dramatic chops, because I think when he is being a dramatic, specifically romantic lead like this movie, he's very much like a little bit wooden in his performance, and I'm a little confused why. Okay, I shouldn't say I'm confused why Anna falls in love with this guy, because he is a very, very good looking man. But just their chemistry, I wish there was just a little bit more to these characters when they are in their scenes of falling in love, because it's funny. While I don't think she has the best chemistry with Regé-Jean Page, I think she has amazing chemistry with Lorenzo D'Amore, who plays Matteo, the guy she meets in New York. He gets the ability to have a lot of really, really funny lines. He's just this, like, sort of like fake charming guy where like the second he shows up, like you understand why people like him, but you also understand like 10 seconds into talking to him, like, okay, this guy's kind of fake. And Lorenzo plays this in a really, really great way. He just has this like really overbearing smile that like kind of warms you up, but you're also kind of like, okay, kind of stay away because I don't entirely trust you. He's a lot of fun. Regé-Jean Page, I will say, I loved him in Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, where he plays just this sort of like perfect specimen of a character. And I think, and I would love to see him have more comedic roles in these comedic films. I loved Black Bag last year, and he was probably the weak link among the cast. And I think he's kind of the weak link again. So he's just an actor that just I'm still waiting for him to really, really impress me in a dramatic role. Like I said, the movie has a number of like really funny ongoing jokes. The rivalry between Matteo and Michael are really fun, just to sort of like overly masculine rivalry of these two characters, like always trying to compete with each other when they come back. And yeah, like I said, this is a movie that like the conflict could probably be solved within maybe like a good 10-minute conversation, but at the same time, if you do that, we don't really get a movie, and it is an enjoyable time watching this movie. So I understand the choices that were made in order to make the plot line go along. One other character I did want to mention, Marco Calvini plays Lorenzo. He is a taxi driver that Anna meets immediately before going to Italy. Just a super fun character, just a super like normal character of like just wanting to support Anna, but also like realizing like, yo, you are just going deeper and deeper into this lie. And it's not going to be good when all the pieces are revealed. Yeah, he was just a really charming character, and I hope we get more of him. Nia Vardalos is also in this movie. She plays the lead in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Always fun to see her. Yeah, really, this is just a movie of like, it's not going to be one that I remember years on end, but I definitely had fun while watching it. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, I'm going to give it the barely passing score of a 6 out of 10. I think this is a decent film. It checks all the boxes, but doesn't really go much beyond that. Oh, the last thing I wanted to say is this movie is shot in Italy, and it is such a refreshing take when you see a movie that is shot in a foreign country and is actually shot there instead of being filmed on a soundstage, because it just adds a like layer of realism to the movie. Italy looks beautiful, the way how Cat Coiro shot this, and it adds a lot to this movie. It's helped by Halle Bailey and just helped by just being a nice, fun movie. This is not one that you need to rush out to see, but when it does come on streaming, I would recommend checking it out. And if you are just someone that really does love romantic comedies, we don't get a ton of like big studio romantic comedies like this. This would be a fun one to check out. But I say we head right into the second review of the night, a much more sinister movie, Faces of Death. This is the reimagining of the 70s horror film. This is directed by Daniel Goldhaber, a director of How to Blow Up a Pipeline, a really, really great movie that came out about, I believe, 3 years ago at this point. This follows a I don't know the exact job title, but it follows a sort of like online curator by the name of Margot. Margot works for a social media social media app, and she is the one who is in charge of looking at videos that have been posted on the social media app and that have been reported, and she has to decide whether or not she's going to take them down or keep them up based on offensive material, whether it's sexual material, whether it's violent material, whether it's racist material. We see many different like montages of her just clicking through and just watching all these videos and seeing all the assortment of things that she lets through, things that she takes down. It's a very like menial job and just very much a soul-crushing job, but also one that is obviously a very important job. Like, websites need to have these. And while she's doing her work, she stumbles on this video that looks like a demonstration of a method of killing someone. And she's going to leave it up. But the thing that makes her, that just sort of like turns on a warning light in her head, is the person that is being demonstrated on looks like he is genuinely actually dying. She lets it go because she's like, okay, this is probably fake. And then she starts getting another one, but this one is a different method of death. This one is electrocution. Then she gets a decapitation, and so on and so on. And little do we know, the reason why these deaths look so real is because they are actually being put on by a serial killer by the name of Arthur, played by Dacre Montgomery, who probably know from Stranger Things. He played Max's brother, and he's doing this in order to gain views and to essentially just create entertainment for the sick and twisted minds out there that want to watch people die. What I will say is this is a movie, this is a remake, this is a very like loose remake of Faces of Death. Faces of Death is actually mentioned in this movie because one of Margot's roommate is a big horror fan, and when Margot starts explaining like what these deaths are looking like, he literally says, "This reminds me of this cult film, Faces of Death." I've not seen Faces of Death. I'm interested to check it out after seeing this movie. But what this movie is getting at, it honestly kind of reminds me of Michael Haneke's Funny Games. Funny Games is a French horror film about these two people that invade these neighbors' homes and just start like playing games on them, saying like, hey, if you survive the night, maybe we're not going to kill you. It is a very mean-spirited and negative movie, but the main piece that Michael Haneke, the filmmaker, is getting out with that movie is how we as human beings sort of like are attracted to just the like obscene and grotesque visuals and just how we consume really rotten media or just really violent media. This movie sort of gets on that, but in a more third-person point of view, where the villain of this is doing all of these things because he knows he can become like internet famous in a way. He is anonymous in the videos, but he wants to do this in order to essentially seed out just how sick and twisted anyone that watches these types of videos are. While those sort of metaphors and those sort of commentaries might seem a little eye-rolly to some, I'll be honest, it really, really worked for me, and I really liked the commentary we were getting with this movie. Maybe feels a little ham-fisted at times, but I'll always take a movie that has a lot to say on its mind, even if it doesn't maybe say it in the best or most subtle way possible. Because I've always said, just because a movie isn't subtle doesn't mean it isn't bad, and this is a very, very well done film. While Barbie Ferrer is good as the lead Margot, Dacre Montgomery is easily the standout of this movie. He just plays his character in such a cold, meticulous manner. Most of the movie is from both these characters' points of view, and every time we are in Arthur's point of view, we just immediately tense up. And I think Dacre just does such a great job of just putting you into the mind of just this psychotic individual. He never really gets mad except towards the end when things don't start not going his way. Just a genuinely like frightening character. I've seen him in a few things, but I don't think I've ever seen him this good. I would love to see him play more villain roles if he can bring this amount of energy to it. But yeah, every time we see a death scene, it is genuinely brutal. Like I genuinely was like out of breath sometimes with how this movie shoots the scenes that where Arthur is killing these victims. It genuinely like puts things into like perspective. Like when these videos are posted, you'll see the comments start flowing in, and it's like, oh man, got him. Oh man, hope that guy deserves it. And it just shows like just sort of like how sick and twisted the internet is. And like, yes, this does seem like obvious things to say, but I think it was pretty well done. If I were to say there was one major issue with this movie, I think towards the end, characters start making really, really stupid decisions when they're in perilous where they're in perilous moments, where it would make sense for the characters to just get out of a situation. They are very able to avoid death or avoid conflict, but they don't for reasons that are kind of given, but I don't think they're that strong. If those didn't exist, this would be like an all-time horror movie for me, because I do think it is a very, very thrilling film, a very like scary and just bone-chilling film. But I think just those little things just sort of affected me from really, really loving it. But yeah, one other thing, some of the most entertaining uses I've seen of Chekhov's gun, like ever, if you don't know what Chekhov's gun is, it's where an object or a plot element is introduced, at first just seeming like it's just there for no real purpose, but later on in the film is going to serve a purpose that will be beneficial to the characters. Movie is some of the most odd, where like there was a moment early on in the movie where Margot's roommate just gives Margot just such a weird like object or weird device without spoiling what it is, where the second you see that, you know immediately that is going to come into play probably towards the third act and is going to help her hopefully take out Arthur. But normally that would annoy me, but because it's done in such a weird and just like such a nonchalant way, I was like, okay, you know what, if you're just going to be that laissez-faire about it, I'm going to be in. And I thought this was a really, really fun horror movie with a lot to say on its mind. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a really strong film with a really great villain performance by Dacre Montgomery. Really brutal kills. Has a lot to say on his mind. Maybe we could have cleaned up some of his commentary. Maybe wish some characters could have made slightly different decisions to make it a little bit more of a believable ending. But I do think this is a movie that is really, really well served by seeing it in theaters because of how tense it gets. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you go see this movie in theaters. But thank you all for watching this week. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the video so it helps grow our channel a lot. Next week, I will not be doing a show. I just don't think I'm going to be able to see 2 movies next week. But I am excited to see some things. Hopefully, I get a chance to see Lee Cronin's The Mummy and just some other things. But yeah, as always, thank you all for watching. Know it's a little shorter week than normal. But yeah, thank you all for watching. And as always, watch more movies.
And the award for most vapid film review of the century goes to...
Okay, movie review. Okay, I thought it was Beauty.
And he's now in cinema hell, where one day we'll all be reunited.
This is me at the Regal Cinema crying as I did through much of the film.